and covering all the information and all of the news and stuff like that once I am back, so that's what I am going to be doing today. So in reference to the title is something like I have played World War II Zombies already, in quotation marks, and the reason why it's in quotation marks is because those are the words coming from Game Informer themselves. It's not clickbait because it is in quotations, meaning that it's coming from the words of another person. I'm simply quoting Game Informer. So if you're unaware, part of a little promotional thing, Game Informer are teaming up with Call of Duty World War II to promote their game with exclusive information over this month, and they have given a few different articles on zombies. Now, I will be covering the other articles in a future video, but today we're going to be covering the article surrounding all the information that we have received from, as he said, the article, I have played World War II Zombies already. If you want to read the full article, I will leave a link to it down in this video's description. As I said, this is old information, but this came out whilst it was on holiday, so obviously I couldn't cover it. So yeah, we're going to be reading through this full article about, essentially, I have played World War II Zombies in the words of Game Informer themselves. So if you do want to enjoy this video, by the end of it, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and go for 1,115 likes on today's video. As well, subscribe to the channel so you never miss a future upload here on the channel. Don't forget to turn notifications on to ensure furthermore that you never miss an upload. But with that all out of the way, let's get straight on into the video. So the article reads as follows. During our cover story trip to Sledgehammer Games offices, we were able to get some hands-on time with Call of Duty World War II Zombies mode. This co-op diversion has been a long-time series staple, giving players a break from competitive shooting in favour of working together to blast apart the undead. After checking out the mode's latest incarnation, PC editor Dan Track and I sat down and reflected on our fun but ultimately doomed battle against those pesky zombies. Jeff said, "Hey Dan Track, we played some Call of Duty World War II Zombies while we were out visiting Sledgehammer Games for your cover story. Before we dive into that too deeply, what's been your experience with that mode? Is that something you look forward to with this new entry? Do you spend much time killing the undead? Would you call yourself a grade A zombies hound?" Dan then replied, "Zombies modes have become a staple for the series now, for better or worse. Despite zombies being an overplayed thing in media these days, they do a great job of differentiating them and finding some star power to kick them up a notch. I enjoyed the last few offerings with the film noir vibe and the campy 80s theme. However, these modes have always really been for a hardcore audience. They are not easy in the slightest, and even with the franchise always inching towards accessibility for zombies, they acquire some serious co-op chops to take down and some digging around to find the secrets. That aspect of it has always been interesting to me, coming together as a community in the days after launch to discover the hidden mysteries as a group on forums, in chat groups, etc. And that sounds very interesting. It sounds like they're going to go all out with Easter eggs. Jeff then said, "I find those old elements interesting as well, though I'll admit I spend most of my time admiring them from afar. I don't like playing multiplayer games with randoms, and it's increasingly difficult to coordinate gameplay sessions with my friends as we've gotten older and spread across the country. I've enjoyed what I've played, particularly the last super goofy entry, but it's definitely not a primary destination for me when I check out a new Call of Duty game. Fortunately for a lone wolf like me, the setup for our mission was pretty much perfect. We had a full group of 4, and you and I were accompanied by a pair of Sledgehammer employees who knew their way around the game's Bavarian nightmare." Obviously this map's going to be set in a Bavarian village. First things first, who did you play as? I picked the Ving Rhames character, a guy named Jefferson Potts. Then I chose a support role, which gave me the ability to briefly cloak myself and avoid detection. It definitely came in handy when I needed to revive other teammates. Did you go for a more offensive orientated approach? Dan then replied saying, "I opted for an offensive role as Marie, who is played by Catherine Winnick. Interestingly enough, I believe players could pick any of the characters so you could have more than one of the same character on a team. I had an ability that really let me light up a room, unlimited ammunition for a limited amount of time. As we got deeper into the mission, this was an absolute lifesaver when the hordes would be on us. It lasted a pretty significant time too. Being able to hold down the trigger and just mow down the zombies was nice, but it didn't detract from the difficulty. It's definitely still there, which is awesome, but at the same time the progression system seems a bit more lenient. You're actually unlocking tangible perks and things, not just the ability to purchase a powerful gumball on your next run. So this is going to be the new gun gumball feature, but it's going to be completely changed within World War II Zombies. While we don't know if this holds true for the entire mode, the dynamic fare we encountered was super cool and should detract from players instantly running to guides and templates to handle the game. Potentially no more. Okay, first we go to this gate, do this thing, do that thing. We had a few encounters that featured us having to move and groove, killing zombies in a mobile location, meaning we have to be ready for that even if we have all of the doors, guns, spawns and everything else memorized. Additionally, the map contains special spawns that are event/location triggered on top of the standard waves, and this sounds very cool. It makes the map sound very dynamic, which is something that I've been wanting to see in zombies for a very long time. Jeff then said, make no mistake, it's still a wave-based mode, but you're right when you say that it's more dynamic. One of our early objectives was to power up some kind of freaky Tesla-like device, which meant following several power cords along the floor and flipping switches. That played out fairly predictable, requiring or at least encouraging us to provide backup for our switch buddies as they worked on repairs, lest they end up as zombie kibble. The interesting part came later when the device was powered on. A weird apparatus on a ceiling mounted track sprung to life, slowly making its way along the corridor. As it progressed, we needed to kill zombies within the energy field it generated to keep it powered on. It's a relatively simple task, but it required everyone to wait for zombies to amble into the correct position before blasting them apart. A nice departure from the typical shoot on sight mode most of us operate on in FPS games. Backing up a bit, what did you think of the setting? I know you went into the lore behind the zombies themselves a few days ago, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the actual location. Personally, I think I'll need to spend more time in it to fully appreciate the smaller details. There aren't neon colours or an 80s soundtrack to quickly establish what makes it different from the other games. The corridors and rooms looked good, or as good as blood-spackled surfaces can be, but the stone walls and metal grates didn't feel unique. You could have told me it was set in just about any era and I would have believed you. Am I crazy? Dan then said, it's pretty early to make any kind of analysis here, I think, but I like the little village a lot. Underground, things start to blur together, but I can't tell if that's because the environments didn't have rich detail or because we literally never stopped for a breather. The assault was relentless and I didn't have time to appreciate any finer things down there, if there were any. I was too busy trying to stay alive. I think that's in reference to the new features, Easter eggs, etc. Jeff then replied to that saying, on that note, I think we did pretty well for our first time. I found the cloaking to be fairly versatile, even though I did not miss being able to slaughter crowds as effectively as the rest of the crew. To balance my comparatively puny damage output, it made it easy to swoop in and revive a fallen comrade and also get away from trouble when things got too hairy. As we progressed deeper underground, we ran into some of the game's tougher enemies, like armoured behemoths who like to charge into battle. Thanks to my ability to turn invisible, I could run away from those guys and watch them become someone else's problem. Yeah, I'm kidding. I retreated and picked them off from a distance. You saw that right. So this new Gobblegum feature seems like it's going to be a lot less overpowered than the Gobblegum feature within Black Ops 3 Zombies. It's going to be a lot more toned back, but it's still going to help you. There's going to be a lot of cool abilities and features to use. Dan then replied, I didn't see that. In fact, I spent barely any time registering what was going on with anyone else, unless they were down and I needed to get them up. When those big bads started showing up, things really got hairy, especially at the end, wave 13, the guy just wrecked all of us, no questions asked. Jeff then said it was a real bummer when all eventually fell, since we were apparently on the last step towards acquiring some kind of Tesla weapon. So I assume this is going to be some sort of wonder weapon. We know there's going to be multiple wonder weapons within World War II Zombies. Now what I think there's going to be is that I think some are going to be easy to achieve and they're going to be quite simple. They're going to be mini quests, but then there's going to be some which you have to go on massive extensive quests to get these weapons, and I think there's going to be more than 4. I think there's going to be a massive range of special weapons within World War II Zombies, but that's my own personal opinion. Alas, it wasn't meant to be. Now this Tesla weapon I assume is going to be some sort of electric based weapon, and that's what they talked about they were, working to build, because we know that the Wunderwaffe DD2 within Treyarch Zombies is an electric based weapon, and that's a Tesla powered weapon. So I assume this is going to be some sort of electric weapon as well. It's going to be made by the Nazis. Now alas, it wasn't meant to be. What did you think overall? Would you stick with the same character / role next time around, or would you move on to something else? I gravitate towards support classes, so I'll probably continue down that path. The tricky part will continue to to be coordinating a time to play with my friends. As deadly as the undead or reanimated can be, they don't compare to the nightmare that is adulthood. So yeah, if you don't know already, the different characters are going to have different abilities, they're going to be different classes, so that's going to really mix up zombies. It's similar to what we saw within Extinction. Now, then Dan then said, I really wanted a lot more time to check out the perks, unlockables, and customization options before deciding. That said, I don't think I'll ever be running support, but I'm glad that they are moving towards a slightly more RPG bent with this than previous versions where you're just a shell grabbing guns and running around. So yeah, as I said, there's going to be a lot more variables that are going to come into play with World War II Zombies. There's going to be a lot more to see. There's going to be new unlockables and customization options that we've never seen before, and perks are obviously returning as well. Jeff then said, what can I say? I'm a helpful person, you're right, though it's hard to gauge the long-term prospects for the mode without getting a better sense of the progression path, if it's satisfying enough. I might be tempted to bang my head against the wall a few times as a solo player and see how far I can get. Dan then said, we only got to play one round, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more. I hope it may finally straddle the line between casual and hardcore by offering something for each audience. I'm sick to death of zombies on TV, in movies and in games, but I'm interested to see how this one plays out. We'll have more exclusive reveals, videos and information on Call of Duty World War II throughout this month, so be sure to check out all of the coverage. There's been a bit of a summary as well made over on the World War II Reddit as well regarding zombies, so I'm just going to summarize through that. It's basically just a summary of everything I just talked about. So zombies' biggest challenge, matching pacing from the movies. They really like the idea of a slaughterhouse. The characters you play as, apart from the monuments, fine arts and archive section, MFAA, looking for stolen art, puzzles, gun purchases and gates remain the same. Story is set as Nazis knew the war was almost over, so they created the zombie project as a way to fight back. However, the experiments saw that they could not be controlled. Zombies were created by man. The research shown that they can be brought back to life by exploiting the nervous system. However, the zombies have to be assembled with bolts and materials. So we've obviously seen that the zombies have a lot of mechanical parts in them, especially the boss zombie, and these mechanical parts actually hurt the zombies because the zombies get more powerful when they get hurt. So these metal bolts haven't just been put in to create the zombies, but they're actually there to sort of control them and anger them in a way. Now, it won't be as simple as original zombies. There are different objectives which will unlock new places to open, so it's going to be a lot more dynamic. The zombies mode is obviously based on real events. We already know this, I've been through it on my channel before. Zombies in World War II has loadouts and functions similar to the perk system, 4 core classes to use: offensive, control, support and medic, customization with casual players in mind. So although there are going to be perks within World War II Zombies, each different class is going to work as a perk itself. So they may remove some of the perks such as quick revive, and that may just be replaced as a class now, so you may just have one player that will be able to use that ability. Now, Zombies combines wave-based gameplay and location-based encounters. The Tesla weapons were the main objective. They sound like the new wonder weapons of World War II. As he said, we know that this is at least going to be one weapon, but we know that there's going to be lots of weapons within World War II Zombies. I presume there's going to be a minimum of 4, but I think they're going to go even more than 4 with World War II Zombies. There are super zombies, mini bosses return in World War II. The Easter egg is the hardest thing ever in Zombies, so they expect it to be harder than anything within Treyarch Zombies, Black Ops 3 Zombies, anything like that, and obviously it's going to be harder than anything we've seen within Infinite Warfare Zombies as well. So I think this is going to be a very, very long Easter egg, but I am really looking forward to all of this. Make sure to leave your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. So anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if